We're going to go to News 19's Lauren Thomas now. She has made her way to Darlington County tonight. A curfew went into effect at 7 o'clock there this evening, and the winds, they are whipping. We hear it, Lauren.
And we feel it here. And so people are out without power in parts of this area. We're in Hartsville, downtown Hartsville, and there were businesses that were also anticipating some flooding in this area because we were told by county administrators and county officials that they were expecting to get 2 to 3 inches of rain every 6 hours. That's when Tropical Storm Florence comes later this evening and into the morning. So we have some businesses that were able to set up with some sandbags out here, which is a good thing. They are anticipating potential flooding in this area, but still parts of downtown Hartsville are without power. We're on the side of the road that happens to have no power, but there are parts of the road that do have power. You can hear some of that wind, and that's a result. And earlier today, we saw some of these the line crews driving through this area. As you can see, this intersection here at College Street, at College Avenue and 5th Street is out of power, but down the street there, you can see that there are lights on. So this is just a kind of a bizarre area where you can have power on one side of the street and then without power there on the other side of the street. And we just saw Hartsville Police Department, their crews have been riding around to make sure that people aren't out on the street. That 7 o'clock curfew went into effect and will continue until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. But as you can see in the intersection, they do have these stop signs in the road so that people can make sure that they stop at these intersections whenever they come to a place where there is no power in the area. But just a lot of wind picking up. We've been hearing some of the wind rustling, feeling it, as well as seeing the effects of the wind gusts in this area. We're in Hartsville, downtown Hartsville in Darlington County. And so, JR, I hope things are smoother back at the station, but we're going to send things back to you guys.
All right, very good, Lauren. Thank you so very much.